Hey guys, thanks for joining me. I'm Dave Goodyear. I'm here at the homestead of Flat Rock, and behind me you can see our little piece of paradise, all covered in white this morning. It's probably the first hard frost this year actually. It's now October 31st, and we've had a really good growing season, and you can see the row covers are on, stuff to hopefully extend that season outwards a little bit, so the cellar will be kind of nice and cold for, I guess, all of those winter vegetables. Our potatoes are up and whatnot, but still lots of stuff to come out of the garden yet. But what a great shot this morning. Everything's covered in white. You can see all the rooftops. Beautiful open sky, and off in the distance we can see that spectacular ball of fire coming up above the clouds on the horizon over there. Anyway, this marks the beginning of a fairly big day. Today, we're on to go early. It's been pretty wet October, and because of that, we've had very little chance to get to the garlic field and do anything with the garlic project. The ground has literally been saturated, but today marks the third day in a row without rain. So we're heading up to the garlic field, and that's, I guess, the subject of this video today. So we got some tilling to do, we got some bed forming to do, and we're hoping to get our black woven mulch put on. Follow along, and you're going to see all that happen here in today's episode. So today we're tilling in this oat cover crop, and we're going to start doing our bed forming and whatnot. And I'm going to show you guys the implement that one of my partners actually built, him and some members of his family. It's a pretty cool implement, and it can be used kind of for bed forming, separate from laying mulch. You can lay woven mulch, plastic mulch, that kind of stuff with it. All right, so here's this implement. It looks pretty complicated. It's not that complicated. So basically what we have is a 3-point hitch, 1, 2, and 3, and these wheels can be adjusted, their height can be adjusted, and they basically ride on the ground. The woven mulch actually gets placed on these two rollers, and it's contained by these bars, and basically it rides on the roll rides on these wheels, and then the black, I guess, plastic mulch or woven mulch goes under this, which then basically goes out on top of the bed. So as you're rolling forward with the tractor, the mulch, which is anchored at the ends, actually gets rolled out onto the ground. And then there's two of these discs, left and right, that are forming the bed in the front, but then in the back there will be 2 more discs installed that are rolling the ground back in on top of the woven mulch. So it's a pretty cool implement, and apparently it works really well. So I'm going to get some shots of that today too. So this will make our life a lot easier for rolling out large amounts of woven mulch. And I'm not sure that this is the way we're always going to do this, but for now it's the best option for us to, I guess, do what we need to do in order to decrease our weed load. We really don't want a whole lot of weeding next year. The bulb bills are really, really small, and we don't know how big they're going to get and how we're going to be able to necessarily discriminate it from large blades of grass. So it just makes sense to try to do something, at least in our first year, to kind of decrease the weed load. And I think that this implement here is really going to be the answer to that. All right, so we got the implement all hooked up here now, and I'm going to make a first run. Just to verify the settings and whatnot on the discs and the wheels and all the individual little settings on it. And once we get that done, then we'll start. And the idea here is that we're planning on using basically the tires on the tractor as kind of the walk space between the formed beds. Move her forward.
Oh! Not deep enough. Lift it up. Oh, yeah.
Alright, so I need to make some adjustments here now to the tires. Alright, so we've started with the bed forming. It's going pretty slow. Field is really wet. You can tell, I mean, this stuff is just clumped, right? And you know, it's still lofty, but it's just clumping up everywhere. And we've made 3 runs now, and you know, it's starting to shape up, but overall, like, it's getting compacted wherever the wheels are, and it's a state. And we're raking out the stuff as we go, and well, we got to get through this today regardless. And as you can tell, it's foggy here now, so the sun lasted for about 2.5 hours this morning. We're making some headway here now, finally. The sun is coming out, and there's actually some blue sky up above. And yeah, there we go. I had to do some tuning on the implement. A lot of times these implements are designed, I think, for people that have sandy soil, and ours is pretty rocky. We hit a few rocks and twisted one of the disc hillers around, so we had to stop and make adjustments to those, make them a little more shallow. But at least now the bed forming is moving forward again, and the only problem is I mean, the soil is just absolutely horrible. It's really wet. Still lofty, but just wet, and you know, it's peeling off the discs, like peeling off. So we're actually hand raking this stuff now to kind of beat up the sod a bit, and hopefully aerate it enough that it can drain. But yeah, it's a bit gross, unfortunately. Alright, so the black mulch idea didn't work out so well. The soil is just completely saturated, and it's sticking to the discs that kind of hill the dirt up onto the mulch. So we've abandoned the black woven mulch idea for the bulb hills, and the plan now is to get enough leaves to just mulch that ground once we get them planted. So it's you know, it took a few tries, but we realized it was pretty futile. The ground's just too wet. It's just been one of the most wettest Octobers I think we've ever seen. So we're basically packing it in for the day now. We're floating the tractor out of here, and that's it. So overall, it was a lot of learning experiences for sure, and we got a lot of things that we know we're going to do differently next year. One of which is making sure that we got our bed forming done much earlier, mainly because with all the rain and wet weather we expect in October. In any case, you know, it is what it is, and we pretty much have no option but to move forward. But we do have beds at least, and once we get our roller with our, I guess, dibbling fingers on it, we'll be able to start planting out. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for today. We're going to pack it up here now and head home and enjoy the rest of the sunshine. In the meantime, you know, if you guys like this video, give us a thumbs up. You know, please subscribe to our channel. We appreciate having you guys as viewers, you know, giving us feedback. You can reach out and follow us on Facebook at the Homestead of Flat Rock, at Instagram and Twitter at FR_homestead, and well, obviously on YouTube here. the homestead of Flat Rock. Thanks for joining me. See you again next time. Lots of updates coming on the food forest, the garlic farm, and well, our own property and whatnot. Thanks. Later.